They couldn't explain why he was never put back on his blood thinner medication. You know why it made a difference in this particular case? Come join me for a moment as I share with you some great information. Hi, I'm Gerry Oginski. I'm a New York medical malpractice and personal injury attorney practicing law here in the state of New York. So now, he was on blood thinner medication and he needed to undergo surgery. So the doctors did the right thing. They took him off his blood thinner medication. And you know why they do that? So the patient doesn't bleed out during the course of surgery. And that's the correct thing to do. But now, knowing that he was on blood thinner medication for a particular reason, to prevent and to reduce the chance of him getting a clot, a blood clot, now what do? He has the surgery, and you would expect that after the surgery, they put him back onto the blood thinner medication in order to do what? To try and reduce or prevent or minimize the chance of him getting a blood clot. Well, what do you think happens? 2 days after the surgery, which goes beautifully, this patient suffers a massive blood clot, and as a result, he dies. This is a massive blood clot to his lungs, known as a saddle embolus. And during the course of the lawsuit, I had an opportunity to question the doctor who did the surgery during pretrial testimony. I said, "Doctor, wouldn't you agree that it's good medical practice to put the patient back onto the blood thinner medication after the surgery?" "Yes, I would." "And would you agree, doctor, that there's a reason to do that?" "Yes, I would." "And what is the reason?" "And the reason is to try and reduce or minimize the chance of this patient getting a blood clot." "Well, doctor, can you show me anywhere in the hospital record that this patient was restarted on his blood thinner medication?" "No, I can't." "Doctor, didn't you in fact write an order before the surgery that this patient was to be restarted on his blood thinner medication within a certain period of time after the surgery?" "Yes, I did." "Doctor, based upon your knowledge of the records, based upon the information you have in front of you, was this patient put back on his blood thinner medication?" "No, he wasn't." "Would you agree, doctor, that that would be a departure, a violation from the clear standards of medical care?" And you know, he didn't want to answer that question. He looked to his attorney and said, "Do I have to answer the question?" His attorney also was reluctant to tell him, "Yes, you do have to answer that question." And finally he turned around and said, "No, it is not acceptable medical care. This patient should have been put back on his blood thinners." So now I asked the follow-up question. "Doctor, I want you to assume that in this case, you ordered this patient to have blood thinner medication restarted after his surgery. I also want you to assume that after the surgery was done, this patient never had his blood thinner medication restarted. Do you have an opinion with a reasonable degree of medical probability whether this patient suffered a blood clot, the saddle embolus, as a result of him not having blood thinner medication?" "Yes, I do." "What's your opinion, doctor?" "He suffered this saddle embolus, this blood clot, as a direct result of him not getting back on his blood thinner medication." "Doctor, would you also agree that if this patient had been put back onto his blood thinner medication within 24 hours after the surgery had finished, would you agree, doctor, that this patient never would have developed this blood clot that ultimately killed him?" Again, he was very reluctant to answer this question. He turns to his attorney tells him, "Go ahead and answer the question." And you know what the doctor says? "In my opinion, this patient would not have developed this massive blood clot that ultimately killed him had he been put back on his medication, his blood thinner medication, within 24 hours after the surgery." And you know what I said after that? "Thank you, doctor. I have nothing further." So why do I share this quick information with you? I share it with you just to show you one instance where I was able to help a surviving family obtain compensation as a result of hospital staff violating the basic standards of medical care. You know, I realize you're watching this video because you have questions or concerns about your own particular matter. Well, if your matter did happen here in New York and you're thinking about bringing a lawsuit, but you have questions that need to be answered first, what I invite you to do is pick up the phone and call me. I can answer your legal questions. You know, this is something I do every single day and I'd love to chat with you. You can reach me at 516-487-8207 or by email at Gerry, Gerry, at Oginski-law.com. That's it for today's video. I'm Gerry Oginski. Have a wonderful day.